before, I guess, what is this day like for a team? You don't always have a practice on trade deadline day, I guess, but what's this day like, for a team knowing just how crazy it is around the league?
Yeah, I mean, like I never say anything about it. I mean, there's nothing you can say. It's a day of a lot of distractions for a lot of guys, and you just go out and get your work done and focus on what your team does. Keep it as normal as you can. I think that's the best thing you can do. But I'm sure our guys were good and focused in practice, but I'm sure it's on a lot of guys' minds, on what's going on. And not just, it's not just their own situations, too. Like, is anything going to happen with our team? What's happening around the league? They've got friends and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a great day around the league as far as, trying to keep everybody focused. That's for sure.
They say it's Andrew from ESPN. I guess. I know Lonzo's dealing with the injury, but did he practice today? Was he a part of practice?
He started practice and then pulled himself out a few minutes in. Yeah, so he had done some stuff before. Thought he was doing better. Thought he could go. Got out there and really couldn't go, and so did not do much of practice.
I mean, was he just dealing with soreness in the hip flexor there? Is that what was...
I don't have any idea, Christian. I don't really know. I mean, I would assume that's his injury. So, and part of it was, we did some stuff. Some dummy offense, no defense. He was okay in that. And then, then as we started moving into some defensive work and stuff, is when he had to pull himself out. So, and obviously that's a little more strain.
Stan, this is a non-trade deadline one for me, but Zion talked a little bit after the game the other day of just how much you guys have played him on the ball more in the past 2 months, and just how much he enjoys playmaking from that role. Has anything he's done as a playmaker surprised you, or is this pretty much just, what you expected that he had this in?
I mean, listen, he's adapted to it better than we expected him to. I think we knew the skills were there, but there's so much that goes into the decision making in those kind of situations, and he's still learning, and he'll get better, but he's a far better decision maker from out there than I would have thought early on. And so, he's done a really, really good job there.
Hey Stan, you've coached, I guess, through the evolution of social media as far as the trade deadline and what it means to the league. Have you noticed a day like this has kind of evolved over your tenure? And is it more, is it different, I guess, than maybe even when you started or through the years that you've coached, on days like today?
Yeah, you know what? I'm so old, Scott, that I can't even remember back before social media. But certainly, I think just the volume of rumors and things like that out there has made it more stressful on guys. I mean, it used to be, you guys, it was just you guys, right? Digging for information, and then you'd have to wait for the newspaper and stuff. So it wasn't out there all the time. Now, I mean, there's stuff on Twitter and social media from somebody's friend, and I hear this and I hear that, and, they can't get away from it. So I just think there's a volume of information, misinformation in most cases out there that is probably a lot more stressful for guys. But this has always been a stressful time for players. And I empathize. Like, I can't imagine, like, with coaches, the only thing we deal with, right, is we might get fired. And so, but it doesn't mean, when I'm fired, it doesn't mean I have to pick up within the next 48 hours and relocate myself. And that's hard enough for anybody. But if you've got family, girlfriend, I understand these guys make a lot of money and that's always everybody's response, but you still have to have some empathy. Like, can you imagine even in your jobs, like, okay, now you're working in Portland tomorrow, Scott, and you got 48 hours. Get out there. And it's not 48 hours just to go meet them and come back. No, you're out there on the beat 48 hours from now. Your kids, your dog, whatever you got, figure it out. I mean, this is tough. And I don't think people have enough of an appreciation for that, and it's hard to get people to empathize with professional athletes with the money they make, and certainly they have a lot of other advantages. But this is tough. This doesn't happen in other jobs, where on a short notice, just you got to relocate from one place to another. It's hard, and I have always empathized with players on these in-season trade types, and there's no warning. There's no warning. I mean, it's right now. Whatever happened today, those guys who got traded, 48 hours. 48 hours.
And just real quickly, obviously your last job was a very different role, where this day was probably a lot different for you. How relieving is it that you're you're obviously part of the process, but you're not the way that you were involved in Detroit?
Oh, God, this is so much better. I mean, Griff and Trajan and their whole staff, have been holed up for days, and it's just round the clock. I came here last night to do my COVID test, and they were all there in the office, and then they're there in the morning. And usually Griff, Trajan will come out and watch practice, not today. They're in there holed up, and it's much better to just be coaching your guys, believe me.
Yeah, and one more non-trade deadline one, but just looking at BI's shot profile, his mid-range jumpers are a lot up from where they were last year, shooting at a really good percentage, but there's always that conversation of, do you want guys just taking threes and layups? Some guys are really good at the mid-range jumper. Is that something you have talked to him about, just how many mid-range look he's getting in your offense and, how efficient he's at with those shots?
Nope, not at all. Listen, my opinion, when you have really, really good players, great scorers, like, don't screw it up, right? I mean, don't screw it up. Don't overthink it. Don't screw it up. The only thing he hears from me as far as shot selection, Will, is I don't like it when he passes up good three-point looks. And there are times where he has time and space to raise and shoot the three, and instead, he shot fakes it and tries to attack. I don't like him passing up the threes, and that he'll hear from me, but I'm not going to micromanage his shot selection. I think you may have to do that with guys who are inefficient, but not with a guy like BI. Like, I'm trying to do, what do they say with the first rule of physicians, right? First, do no harm. I'm trying to stay the hell out of the way. He knows his game. I've been happy with it. Let him, and he's very unselfish. I don't want to screw up somebody like that.